Hello everyone and welcome to a new game, Total War 3 Kingdoms, with me, NG Paradox. Now, I'm pretty excited. Thanks to the lovely people at Creative Assembly, I've managed to get my hands on the game slightly early, and if any of you guys have been on the channel for a while know, I absolutely adore 3 Kingdoms, so I'm pretty excited. I've played one campaign so far, and I absolutely loved it, and I can't wait to jump right back in and continue playing the game. But that's kind of the problem. I'm so excited, I've loved it so much, I actually can't decide who I'm going to play as. So I need your guys' help. I need you to vote to see who you think we should play as. Now, if you're new to the channel, you might not know that I absolutely adore Romance of the Three Kingdoms, the book. I read it when I was very young. I know the lore very well. So no matter what character you pick, I'm going to know who they are and what they do. So don't worry too much about picking a well-known character if you feel you have to. If you want to see some lesser-known characters like Shang Yang or Yuan Shu, maybe that people don't, who don't know much about, I'll be perfectly fine because I know all about them. And I love them for their stuff. But let's jump into the options so you guys know exactly who your choices are. Now, to begin with, we have the Coalition factions. These are the factions that were all working together to try and take down the tyrant who took the boy emperor. They did defeat him. He was pushed out of the capital, but he also burnt down the capital and is now off in the west in Chang'an, known as today as Xian, if I remember correctly. And now the coalition has fallen apart and they fight amongst themselves, everyone grabbing for land. Who should we choose? We could begin with Cao Cao. Cao Cao is probably the character, well, one of the two characters most people think of when they think of Romance of the Three Kingdoms, and possibly my favorite character in the entire books and period of the history, actually. Absolutely adore him. He would start off with his two cousins, Xiao Dun and Xiao Yuan, both great fighters, and ones that he can trust, of course, because they're family. He gets minus 10% upkeep for cavalry, and extra military supplies. That military supplies could make it really useful at the beginning, which is maybe why he's considered easy. Apparently he's considered the only easy character, and maybe it's because of that, because it helps at the beginning of the game. Supplies can be a thing at the beginning of the game. Later on I didn't feel it was a big deal, but early on it was a problem. He gets his special faction ability of credibility. He incites proxy wars. He can influence diplomatic relations, and credibility recovers over time. So basically you can just use this to kind of manipulate the people around him, which could make him a lot of fun to play as. Other than that, he gets a few unique things when it comes to his armies and buildings, but nothing else really more than that. So our second character is Liu BeiAO. Now, Liu BeiAO is the second character most people think of. He is the benevolent man, the humble, the good-natured. He fights for the people. In comparison to Cao Cao, who fights for his own ambitions and glory, and he excels at it, obviously. He collects people, but Liu BeiAO is a man of camaraderie. These are not just his generals, they are his brothers. Guan Yu and Zhang Fei. Now, obviously not real brothers, they're not related by blood, but they swore the oath in the Peach Garden, and they will work together no matter what, and die together if they hope to. They kind of hope to die together. He gets plus public order, again, could be very useful at the beginning of the game, and minus 50% upkeep for militia infantry. So at the beginning, we might want cheap armies to try and use this. That could be very useful. If you want lots of armies, it could be useful. He has a special ability of unity. Increases our prestige, which is important to try and get to become emperor. So actually, his unity ability could make it quicker for Liu BeiAO to go up the ranks. Unlocks administrator positions and increases income. Unity increases if generals are satisfied. Satisfaction can be managed with unique assignments. And his ideas companionship. He wants his people to be happy, and he'll be happy. The people are happy, no war. Get rid of the chaos and strife and save everyone. That is Liu BeiAO. And he starts off just up here, next to lots of good-natured allies. So should be a good position for him. Third up, we've got Sun Jian, the Tiger of Jiangdong. He's a great fighter, a great general. During the coalition battle against Dongzhuo, he was very successful in his endeavors, and in the former capital, he actually discovered a secret. He discovered the Imperial Seal. I can't believe I forgot that. He discovered the Imperial Seal during the campaign. And the Imperial Seal, if you don't know, is basically the seal of the Emperor. And so some people might say that it has a mind of its own, a destiny. So it being lost by the Han could be seen as the hand fallen, and him recovering it, maybe it's a sign of great glory and destiny for him, or for whoever holds it. So that's going to play into his character, how he starts in the campaign, and how others maybe are going to try and influence him. Liu BeiAo, obviously being one of the main candidates there. He gets plus 25% campaign movement range, plus 10% morale when attacking. So he's definitely an aggressive play style. He has heroism as his unique faction thing, decreases unit recruitment and upkeep costs. That's nice. The higher it is, obviously, increases satisfaction of characters. Heroism is gained from inflicting more casualties than the enemy. Okay, and he gets actually quite a different thing. He gets mercenary companies, which can, I think if I remember correctly, when he the idea with the mercenaries is that when you recruit them, they're completely full. You haven't got to muster them, if I remember correctly. So that's quite a useful thing for him to get an army up very quickly and fully strength. His noteworthy characters are all his children, Sun Ce, Sun Quan, and Sun Ren. Obviously, very good and capable in their own ways. In real history, he died quite early, and his children took on the mantle and were able to have great success. But maybe we can change history and allow Sun Jian to actually live for longer. Next up, we got Gong Sun Zan. I probably should do this quicker, actually. I'm taking quite a while to go through. We're going to be here for hours. We got Gong Sun Zan. Starts off in a very good position. Actually, Sun Jian starts off in a great position as well. There's not many other factions down here, so there's a lot of easy expansion. But Gong Sun Zan starts off right in the corner up here, which can be good because it allows you to get quite a nice little power base in the corner, so you can't be surrounded. He's known as the Iron Fist General. Was actually friends as well with Liu BeiAo. Liu Bei, sorry, I said Liu BeiAo. I was thinking of, I'm putting Liu Bei and Liu BeiAo together. But yes, Liu Bei and Gong Sun Zan have a history together, so they're friendly. He has a plus 50% reinforcement range, plus 12% armor for all shock cavalry. His main thing is his cavalry. He's known for his white horses, as you can see here. He has military government, unique military inspector court positions, limits the availability of administrators, balanced military, income from all sources, public order, and he starts with Xiao Yun, a very famous general, one of the most famous generals from the period, in fact, probably one of the most favorite generals from the time period, one of Liu Bei's tiger generals. But he'll start with you as Gong Sun Zan, but will he stay? That is the question. Next up, we've got Yuan Shu. Yuan Shu, the former leader of the coalition, from a very well-off family. He's got plus 6 morale, minus 50% recruitment and upkeep cost for captain retinues. He does get this retinue called the captain retinue, which can lead his armies instead of other main characters, which is pretty cool. He has lineage as his specialization, allows recruitment of new characters. Instead of spending money, he spends this to recruit new characters. Improves occupation option to reinforce and resupply. Can forge alliances from the start of the game. That's a big thing. Lineage is gained from all members of alliances and coalitions initiated by this faction. So his main playstyle is factions. And you can see here, secure, occupation option, replenishment, military supply gain. So he can actually do this when he takes over a city instead. He doesn't have any unique character portrait followers, but he does have 2 pretty good generals in Wan Chou and Yang Liang. Obviously, in history, they both died, sadly, to Guan Yu. Well, when I say sadly, I guess it depends what side you're on. But they seem like 2 pretty decent generals. They obviously, you know, supported each other. Maybe you can change history and let them survive for longer and support Yuan Shu later down the line. But he could be a good one. He's got a good little position up here in the north as well. Next up, for the last one of the coalition factions, we have Yuan Shu, the brother of Yuan Shu, but always the jealous type. He was very ambitious, he's very jealous. In the actual history, he did declare himself emperor very early on because he got the imperial seal from Sun Jian's son, who gave it to him and, you know, kind of then getting some soldiers of his own so he could do his own conquest. But Yuan Shu he's a bit too quick, shall we say, into going into his plans, you know? He's a bit hasty. That's what he's very hard situation. I've played as him already as my own campaign. It was really fun. I did make him become an emperor, but that was in records mode, and that was me playing by myself. So if you guys would like to see him as well, I'm very happy to play him as well. I could play him in a different way. It was a lot of fun. I learned a lot playing as him. I could definitely do it better a second time, even though it went quite well. 25% income from commerce and industry, so good economics there. 15% undercover network cost for enemy spies. So a couple of interesting things there. He has legitimacy, quite similar to Yuan Shu. It increases prestige, so it allows him to get to being an emperor much quicker. Allows recruitment of new characters. Uses that like Yuan Shu. Can forge alliances from the start, again like Yuan Shu. Legitimacy is gained for unique diplomatic deals. So he can make a deal for people to recognize his legitimacy. That's how he can get more. Business ventures, economic assignment. He can basically increase his income from commerce with that. And he only has really one notable character. It says Yang Xiang. There's a couple of guys he starts with that are okay, but no one really that stands out as unique portraits. And that is the coalition factions. If those don't take your fancy, maybe you think you've seen other people play as them too much, or they're just not your style, we could play as a governor. Now, the governor factions play slightly different. They can't declare themselves emperor. The idea is these governors, they've kind of been assigned this by the emperor, so they're not going to rebel and make themselves emperor instead. They have to wait for someone else to declare themselves emperor, like maybe one of the coalition people, and if they're one of the, I guess, 3 biggest factions, they would become one of the emperors. Now the emperor's kind of been abdicated. Or they must take one of the emperor's capitals and become the emperor that way. So they can still become emperor, of course, but they can't do it by themselves. So you're going to have to try and make sure someone else can actually do that. Let's have a quick look at who they are. We have Kong Rong, the master of pears. Very well known and very famous in China. Even if they don't know much about the 3 kingdoms, a person might still have heard of Kong Rong due to the fact of him being a scholar. He was very well known, said some very interesting things. Everyone knows about his pear story, where he gave his pears away to his brothers, and he gave a good response to why he shouldn't get the pears. And so it kind of shows his humbleness and his intelligence at a young age. They say it's a hard one to start off with. He's a strategist, plus 5% population growth, and trade influence is 50%. So he's very much one you don't need to go to war. Peace and prosperity can be very useful for you, trade and whatnot. He has trade monopoly, can exert trade monopoly over other factions. Population increases trade influence. The more people you have, the better trade you can do. Trade and population, basically. We have a few things here. Crossbowman as his kind of special units. We have this education program, income from commerce, and loyalty to the hand. Path to victory. Cannot declare as emperor by creating an emperor seat. Can become emperor by capturing the capital. Oh, so even if he's one of the top 3 people, actually, I don't think he can actually declare himself emperor either. Okay, so that's an interesting thing there as well. So that could be kind of a fun little challenge. It's probably why all of them are hard, at least for the governors. Next up, then we've got, oh yeah, he's got Wan Chou. Again, no one, not exactly one that stands out, but he has his own little thing. He was very loyal to Kong Rong, if I remember correctly. A good man. Next up, then, we have Liu BeiAO. Now, he starts off in the very center of China, and historically, this made him very important because he had a very good position. You know, going north, south, east, or west, his lands are kind of in that central area. So he's got a very strategical position, but also means he can be attacked from anywhere as well. Gentleman of the Hand. He's got plus 10 satisfaction to his workers, I guess, is the people below him, and plus 2 public order. So the public and his people in court all like him. Harmony and knowledge. Court tutors increase character experience gain. Playstyle, characters and politics. So not really too much there, to be honest, so far. He looks like he's got some cool infantry there. He also gets a lodging. Court scholars, character experience can go up, and loyalty to the hand. He also gets, though, Huang Zhong, one of Liu Bei's 5 tiger generals. He's an old man, though, so obviously I don't know how long he'll last, but for the time that you have him, he is a great fighter. One of my favorite generals, actually, from the story. So, he was very old, but he could still put up with the best of them. If I remember correctly, he was able to fight with Guan Yu, even though maybe he's an older gentleman. So it could be kind of fun to have him underneath us to begin with. And last up for the governors, we have Ma Teng. Ma Teng obviously is over here in the west. He's one of the few people we can choose in the west at this time. He's got a pretty good position there. Very cold, as you can see, I guess, from his clothes. He has a good friend up here in Han Su. So Han Su may not be a vassal or something like that, but he's a good friend, a good ally. Until, of course, Ma Teng dies and the Ma Chou is easily manipulated by Cao Cao, and it ruins their dynamic, their alliance, and it all falls apart. Cao Cao was too smart. You know, Ma Chou may have the emotions, the strength, and the valor, but Cao Cao has the manipulation. He worked great against Ma Chou. But maybe you can keep Ma Teng alive for as long as possible and stop that from happening. 10 melee damage for shock cavalry, so his cavalry is pretty good. Income from silken spice, and 15% upkeep for Qiang units, which I guess are his ones. There you can see the horsemen. So really going to want to use a lot of cavalry here and try and control the silken spice. That sounds like what you want to do with him. Foraging and supplies. Armies forage food when encamped. Ooh, that's pretty good, actually. That means that could be a good way for you to get supplies. Okay. Increased military supplies bonus. Even better. Oh, wait, so do they... That's not supplies then. So you get a natural bonus for supplies. This is extra food for his people. Ooh, okay. I like that. Okay, does he get anything special here? Food from foraging. Okay, nothing crazy there. He gets, of course, his son, Ma Chou. Again, the other 5 tiger generals. He's the last one, I think. We've seen the others so far. Here's the other one. Great fighter. And we also get Pang Di. Was it Pang De? No, it would be Pang De. Yeah, because Zhang He. Pang De. Pang De is a great general. I've always liked Pang De. It's good to see him in the game. He doesn't get a unique portrait, sadly, but, you know, at least they've noted him as a noteworthy character. I'm very happy to see that. And that is the governors. You can see very interesting positions for them. They're spread out. Next up, we've got the outlaws. These are people who maybe are outside the nobility of the Han Empire, but they're looking to make a name for themselves and take advantage of the chaos. First, we have Shang Yang, the king of the Black Mountain. As you can see, he starts off right up in the north, a very good position, you know, not anyone behind him really that can hurt him up there. I don't think you can go into those mountains, if I remember correctly. And Shang Yang was an interesting character. You know, a lot of people were surprised he actually was chosen as a character for the game, but I actually wasn't that surprised because he actually survives for quite a long time at the beginning of the Three Kingdoms story, and he causes a lot of problems for Yuan Shu and other people here in the north, and actually stays around for quite a long time. So I'm glad to see him in the game. Enables ignore forest penalties, and plus 25% post-battle loot. So if you want to see a campaign as playing as a bandit, someone on the outside of the Han Empire, but kind of wants to be part of it, you know, he wants to gain strength and then become a part of it by gaining their recognition, he would be a good choice. We also have opportunistic alignment. He can improve relations with the Yellow Turbans. Not really any faction can do much with the Yellow Turbans, because obviously they're kind of very anti-Han Empire, but he apparently can make relations with them. He can ambush when attacking. Playstyle ambushes and opportunistic diplomacy. He gets his Black Mountain kind of bandits here as units, and he has a Black Mountain hideout. He also has noteworthy characters as Yu Du. Now, if any of you have followed my channel for a while, you know I did a Romance of the Three Kingdoms 13 series as a character called Yu Du. Just random character I chose. We played as him. He's actually in Shang Yang's faction. So if you remember that series, this might be what tempts you to want me to play as Shang Yang. We also get Li Damu. Don't remember him that well, to be honest. Village Chief. I feel like I recognize the name, but I can't remember him very well. But Shang Yang could be a fun one if he wants to play as a bandit up in the north, taking advantage of this chaos to make a name for himself. But if you'd like a different type of bandit, we also have Zheng Jian, the Bandit Queen. Now, she gets -1 mustering turns and plus 50% tribute in diplomacy. Now, her faction specialization is infamy. Now, if I remember correctly, she plays quite differently to some of the other factions from what I was told. She can increase prestige this way, increase character experience, increase character satisfaction and morale. Infamy decreases over time, though. So she needs to be, you know, attacking a lot. Yeah, she wants to be attacking a lot to keep this up, I guess, rather than it going down. I don't think she starts off in any territory. She's got to take what she can get. But she's basically, think of it like basically she's a nobody. Think of it this way, you know, Shang Yang is a man who's situated himself. He's quite well known to the people around in this area. Jian is kind of, in the book, she's literally no one. In the Realms of the Three Kingdoms, I don't think she's even mentioned. From what I can remember, in the record, she's kind of just one sentence. So she's not really important. So think of her as a character, like, not your own custom character, but think of her as a nobody to play as. You know, rise up from nothing and just attack everyone. So you're not playing as a noble, you're playing as just a normal person who's extremely strong, extremely skilled, and you're going to take advantage of this chaos. That's kind of how I like to see her as, you know. It kind of gives you a choice to be able to play as a nobody in that way. She gets a couple of people, but again, not anything particularly special in that regard. So yeah, two interesting choices right there. Next then, we have the Tyrant. The man, the large man himself, Dongzhuo. This is an interesting one. He's a cruel tyrant. It seems a hard campaign. He gets -1 mustering turns and -10 morale for defending enemy forces. So when he's attacking, they're going to be having lower morale. Now, he starts with quite a lot of land compared to the other people. Oh, I forgot to mention, actually, Liu BeiAO starts with 2 vassals. That was something I probably should have mentioned. He starts with 2 little vassals here, if I remember correctly. Liu BeiAO is there. His 2 vassals are here. But yes, Dongzhuo starts with a lot more territory than most other people. Liu BeiAO is maybe one of the few that also, you know, has quite a bit of land because he's got vassals. But the idea here, as I guess, is that you're kind of starting off big, but you need to kind of keep things under control. Think of, like, you know, Attila, Total War with the Roman Empire and stuff. You got to try and hold it all together. I'm imagining, I've not actually tried it out, but I'm imagining that's what it's going to be like. You got the Han Empire, all this land, as your vassal, but everyone is attacking it. Everyone wants a piece of that land. Everyone wants to get rid of you and save the Emperor. Can you hold on to the Emperor? Can you hold on to the Empire and take down these traitors? It'll be a very nice challenge. He starts with the intimidation specialization, influences public order and corruption, spent on diplomatic coercion, increases when raising settlements, decreases when promoting characters. Intimidation decreases over time. Oppression and control is his style. So yeah, you can definitely see his idea is that he wants to control people and oppress them, and he'll play fine. He gets some cavalry as well, probably because of the place where he comes from. He gets raise, occupation option, and he also gets the coerce. Chance of accepting deal is increased and intimidation is increased. So he can kind of get people to accept deals they don't really want necessarily. And he has some very notable characters. You know, you got people like Liu BeiAO, who I can never pronounce his name for some reason. I don't know why. Everyone tells me I pronounce it wrong. A great general. Among men, there is Liu BeiAO. Among horses, there's Red Hair. And we have Zhang Liao, one of my favorite generals, one of the top generals of Cao Cao in the true story. But he starts off here with Dongzhuo. Very capable men below him. Can you keep control of the situation? It could be difficult. Also, he has an interesting adventure where you could actually just kill him off, like in history. And maybe you could have someone else come to power. You could even make Liu BeiAO maybe your heir, and he can take over. So playing as him does give you a chance to play as Liu BeiAO, or you could keep him alive and keep Liu BeiAO happy, keep him alive and continue playing as him and change history completely. There's a couple of ways you can play this, so I think it's a really interesting choice, actually. But, you know, you start off quite big, you know. It's not what a lot of us like to play. We like to start as maybe someone small and grow from there. For many people I know, so... But he's an option. And lastly, we have the Yellow Turbans, the pre-ordered DLC for the game. Their campaign starts very differently. They can't really negotiate with many of the factions. And most people will declare war on them whenever they can. With the choice of her Yi. I always try to say he, but her Yi. Leader of the people. Minus 50% upkeep for ranged units. And plus 6 morale. His Dominion of He, which is this little land here, increases replenishment. Population decreases recruitment cost. Plain Stars population. He gets this unit here. He gets Aid the Wounded. Population growth and income from commerce. Okay. There's some interesting things. They also start with He-Man. Obviously, I don't think it's pronounced He-Man. It's pronounced Her-Man, the most powerful. So you get this guy there. That's an interesting one. Don't remember the name, so I don't remember much about him. Actually, from the story, I feel like they just chose him because, you know, as a noteworthy character because of his name, I feel like, possibly. But playing as a Yellow Turban, they all seem quite hard just because you have difficulty when it comes to diplomacy and everyone's going to hate you. So it does seem like a good challenge, though, if that's what you want. And raise the banner of the Yellow Turbans, take down the empire for the people. And, of course, the religious ideas. Though each of these are kind of different in their own way. We have Gongdu, another man of one of the few that starts over here in the west with like Teng and Dongzhuo. So of a very small area here, master of the land, considered very hard. +5 military supplies in enemy territory. Ooh, that's cool. And +10 armor for all spear infantry. So want a lot of spear and want to be inside the enemy territory. He gets Dominion of Gongdu, increases campaign movement range, increases loot from battle. So definitely kind of one going on the attack, wanting to be inside enemy territories, giving him supplies, and obviously looting as he goes and raiding. He has the Liberate. Public order and enemy commanderies, steals food and reserves from a local region. Oh, it's a different stance. Steals food and reserves from local region. Again, emphasizing the idea he wants to be in other territory. Pretty cool, actually. And Guardians of the Land. He has with him Shang Yang. Now, I do recognize the name, Slayer of Tyrants. I recognize the name, but I don't remember what he did. I do recognize the name, though. And lastly, we have Xiao. This has been a long video. It's a lot longer than I expected it to be, but there's a lot of characters to go through. I want to give you guys as much information as possible so you can make the best decision, because I love all these characters. They all sound like a lot of fun. Wielder of the Heavenly Way. Plus 4,000 population growth. And +10 melee evasion for melee infantry. So he wants infantry probably. Increases character experience. Increases research rate. So playstars research and wisdom. So he wants his characters to get experience, get, you know, more powerful, but also get the research up. That's actually interesting. The research rate is up. Because it's based upon reforms. You'll get them sooner. Okay. Seek talented individuals. Chances of finding exceptional talent. Ooh, that's pretty nice. He's a good chance of finding good people to join him. And he gets some archers. We have Pei Yuan Shu underneath him. Don't know much about him either, but that is it. Those are the different campaigns. 15 different people to choose from. I'm happy with all of them. They all sound interesting. They all sound like a lot of fun. So I'm going to leave it to you guys. I look forward to seeing your answers. You won't have much time though. I'll probably only give you 1 or maybe 2 days to make your vote. So make sure you make them count. I'll see you soon.